Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode. Today we are going to I'm going to try to modify this Ford truck that I bought recently. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try to do is to add a suspension system. I want to give it a little bit of suspension to it. So I'm going to try to do this modification. So let's unscrew all the screws from here. So first I'm removing the back. So we have two screws at the back. This loosen up and we see the inside of the car. This is how it is. This is the system. So basically the bed sits in there. And then I'm gonna make a plan to see how I'm gonna fix this, if it's possible. So now I remove the front screw and the whole truck was divided. So the rear bumper is plastic in its separate piece, and also the side steps are separate part. So if you want, you can take this off if you don't like them. If you want, you can paint the bumper. Too much modifications to do with this model. And this is how the system with the wheels, how it's made. So now we don't have suspension to it, and I want to have a little bit. So I'm gonna make a plan to see how I can make this possible. So the first thing that I've done, because I need a little bit of flex, is to create this play. As you can see, the rear is stock, the front has this flex. So I created this by adding an extra hole in the top of the rod using this drill here without disassemble anything. I just made an extra hole on the top from the rod. You can see how thin the drill is. It's a little bit thicker than the rod itself. So I did this on both sides, and I created this equal play to both sides. Now I'm gonna do the same for the rear, and then I will make a plan to add the springs. So very carefully I created the same thing at the back too, as you can see. So we have this play, and now I'm gonna add the springs. As for reference, you can see now how low it sits without the springs. Everything aligns perfectly. There's no issue of tires rubbing the fenders. That's why I used this specific uh, drill. Maybe it's better if I tell you also the thickness. So I used this here. Uh, I don't know if it has a number, so I can tell you the number. It doesn't have a number, but I think that it's size 2, 2.5. But in general, you can see the rod. If you want to do it also, you can see the rod. And you can take a drill that it's a little bit more thicker than the rod, and then carefully drill uh, exactly above the rod, so you can create the perfect amount of space that is needed, so you don't have any issues. So you see how it sits now, and I'm gonna put the springs so I can take it back to the original right height. And basically I will add some springs that are harder, so I can also lift it up more than the stock model. So that is what I'm gonna do now. Let's see. So here I have a set of springs. You can find it in the hardware stores or online. You can see what it says here if you want to look it up. It is a mix of springs, very good for applications like this or for RC cars. It has many different type of springs, many different sizes. So now I'm gonna choose what is right for my build, and then I will see how I'm gonna mount them. So I chose the spring that I'm gonna use is this one. It is the smallest of this type in that box that I bought. It has almost the same size with the Maisto and Burago springs, but it's softer. Sometimes I use them to Burago models and Maisto models to make the suspension work smoother and nicer. So I'm gonna use also this in this build here. So now I'm gonna see how I'm gonna place them, and I will tell you what I've done. So I made my decision, and I'm gonna use a hot glue gun with the silicone bars, and we'll use these cups. These cups are used as covers for Phillips screws on furniture. You can find them in a plastic bag. Usually there are too many in the bag, very cheap. So I'm gonna glue this on the top and at the bottom of the spring so I can create a suspension, and I will add one of each side of the wheel, so I create a suspension with a bumper stop, as you can see here. And I will make here with a filer or with a wheel, a trimming wheel like this. I will make a straight line here, so this sits on the rod of the wheel so it doesn't go away. And this is gonna be the suspension system that I'm gonna make. So here is a finished suspension. I cut a little bit so it sticks on the side of the plastic, and I made also here a small bump, as you can see, so the rod sits in here and doesn't move around, and this is gonna be the suspension system. So I'm gonna add all four and I will show you the result. One side is almost done. You can see how it looks. I'm gonna make some final touches and clean it up, but this is gonna be the way it works. So I'm gonna make all four and I will show you how it works then. So now I placed all four suspension springs that I created, and as you can see, this is the result. So now we have a little bit of suspension to it, as you can see. And now, for example, if we have a rock, you can see that the suspension goes in and you have like a realism to it. And that's for the back also. The back I made it a little bit stiffer. If you like, the moment that you glue it, you can level it up, but for me I made the rear a little bit stiffer because sometimes I want to put stuff in the back, and so I wanted to, when the weight goes in the back, in the trunk, I wanted to have like a natural, this is very heavy, but for example, let me show you. Sometimes for fun I put stuff at the back, so for example I'm putting this bulb and a rock in the top, and you can see how it went down, not very much, and this is lifted up. So when I put heavy objects like a bottle of water or something, it doesn't go all the way down. So it is nice, it's fun. I hope it doesn't scratch the paint. But anyway, yeah. So that's the whole idea. I hope you found it useful. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. And until the next time, take care and stay safe. Bye bye.